Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to what's going to be our abbreviated news update program tonight. I'm glad we can put on a great race because we sure are having trouble with this technical stuff, but we're going to get it perfected. Yeah. We're here tonight live from the Fatheadz Eyewear Studio in Indianapolis.
Yeah, exactly. And we are, if you've been keeping count, we are 8 weeks away from the Rumble in Fort Wayne. So 2 months from now, we are loading in. We're getting ready for 2 straight nights of racing.
Right. And everything's moving forward. And as we've been chronicling for the last 3 weeks, we're kind of working under the guidelines of the Allen County Department of Health. And they and the Coliseum are working very closely with us.
Exactly. And we kind of touched on, we're going to have a little bit different show this year. So can you kind of touch on how we're going to reformat it?
Yeah, we're going to kind of tell you a little bit more tomorrow. And but tonight, let's just review some of the guidelines that we have to go by when we're talking about reformatting the program. First and foremost, the event is going to be restricted to 2,000 people per day, which includes the race teams, the officials, media members, everything. 2,000 people in the building. Social distancing is going to be required, and that means not only in the grandstand, but in the pit area and the pit stalls. And then, of course, face coverings are going to be mandated.
Exactly. So what I'm getting from that is we have the green light for the Rumble in Fort Wayne, but we just have the caution flag kind of waving over it right now.
Yeah. The biggest problem is not the capacity. We figured we could work with the 2,000, but it's the pit stalls. With the 6-foot distancing, just so you can imagine, everybody that's been to the Rumble knows about how many cars we get. Right now, we can only get 64 race cars in the upper pit area, where we normally put the midgets, the 600s and the quarter midgets, and in the basement, we can only get right around 100. So something is going to have to give.
Definitely. So when you talk about distancing or social distancing the pit stalls, do you have an example of that?
Yes, it's going to be 6 feet apart, and the Coliseum has given us a map, but we're going to wrap this up pretty quickly because we're running short tonight and we have our guests coming. So tomorrow night around 6 p.m., we have our social media networks. We're going to try to release as much information as we have available at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like you said, 6 p.m. tomorrow, just kind of follow along on all of our social media. Facebook, Rumble Racing Series. Our Twitter handle is at Rumble Fort Wayne. Instagram, Rumble in Fort Wayne. And then obviously we release all of our news on our website as well, which is rumbleinfortwayne.com.
Okay, and like I said, we'll give you as much information as we can. There's still going to be questions to answer, and unfortunately, the numbers of positive cases are continuing to rise, and that could have a bearing on everything. So with that, we'll go ahead and rumble up tonight's quick little program. On the update, we'll have a lot more announcements coming next week, and we're really excited about some of them. So we'll get ready now to move into Rumble Mumble with tonight's featured guest, Dave Ryder and Matt Westfall.
Yep.
Well, good evening, everyone. Here we are live in the studios, our new home for the Rumble Mumble, a new program, a new format, same thing with guests and everything, but sometimes we're going to have guests here live in the studio. Other times we're going to do it by remote, which we're going to do tonight. We had a few glitches with that, but I believe that Carl and everybody has that worked out right now, so we're looking forward to it. The Rumble Mumble, this is our 4th show leading up to Rumble 23, and before we get underway, we didn't get to announce in our update program, but we're really excited to announce that our presenting sponsor again this year.
Exactly, yeah. Jason Deach Trailer Sales are back again this year as our title sponsors. So big warm welcome back to those guys. We actually went to Edgerton, Ohio last week and met with him for last week's Rumble Mumble. So it's pretty cool having him on board again this year, and again, just thanks to him for not only supporting the Rumble, but it seems like just about every racer and every racetrack around here as well.
So trailer sales, when you're ready to update, go see Jason. He's got something of every size, of every need, and we were up there last week and like almost 400 trailers on the lot. So Jason Deach Trailer Sales, Edgerton, Ohio. Welcome back for, I believe, the 4th year. So, all right, tonight introducing our new format. Again, I'm Larry Bose and Kyle Dager, and we're here in the studio. Tonight, we're hooking up remotely with Matt Westfall and Dave Ryder, and
yep.
we're in Troy, Ohio. Hey, guys, are you connected with us?
How you guys doing?
Yep, there they are. Hey, guys, hate to tell you this, but you're kind of our guinea pigs tonight. This is the first time we've done this, so we're looking forward to it. And we have to get used to it just as you do. There's going to be kind of a delay back and forth, and we'll get this tuned in. But welcome on board. And for those of you that don't know, Matt Westfall is the driver, and the car owner for him at the Rumble is his uncle, Dave Ryder.
Yep. And I really want to start this off. I don't know if Matt's too happy with me right now, but Tuesday's trivia question was: there's only 3 drivers who have competed at the first Rumble and also as an active driver, and Matt was one of them. So I am showing his age a little bit, and I apologize for that. But tell me about the first Rumble and how that's changed over the years.
When we went to our first Rumble, I don't even remember what year it was. Was it 98 or 99?
23 years ago. Do the math.
Yeah, so. But I remember it was kind of neat back then because nobody had specialty cars. We all had just our dirt cars, or somebody had a pavement car. And the track, we never qualified. We just drew for positions. And I recall, I believe at first, I was in the first heat race that night, and I drew the tail. And by like lap 5, I was trying to take the lead because you could actually work the outside because people's cars wasn't handling as good as they do nowadays. And it was pretty fun back then. Now it's just a little tougher because the cars are more specialty for the track.
I see. And Dave is your car owner now. Who were you driving for back then, 23 years ago? Do you recall?
I was running our family car for my mom and dad.
Gotcha. And this is quite the family operation. Dave, when did you come on board as the car owner for up there at the Rumble?
Oh, I really don't know. It's been a long time. We just kind of stumbled on the car. Randall Williams bought this car, and he was going to have Elliott drive it. And then he decided he wanted to sell it, so we ended up getting it. And we ran the car after we got it. We brought it back to Matt's dad's house, and we kind of went through it a little bit, got it ready, and ran it when they had the very first Rumble in Columbus.
Okay,
and,
at the state fairgrounds. Yeah, they ran in the Coliseum there, Kyle. That was before your time. And I mean, it was a great facility for like the 600s and the go-karts and quarter midgets, but it was just real tight, kind of like the Dayton Hare Arena for the midgets. But Kenny Schrader was there that night, and it was quite the show. So today, when we were doing the promo for the event, we had showing a picture of Dave and the whole family. Kind of, Matt, tell us, you said the family car. Tell us a little bit about the family and how everybody's involved in the racing circle.
I've been in racing my whole life. My mom's dad, my grandpa Trost, he always owned sprint cars, and so she grew up with it. And then when my mom and dad met, my dad got into go-kart racing, so then that's what started me into kart racing, and then it's evolved from there. I mean, we got into micros, and I ran the midget, and then I've ran every type of car, it seems like. But
yeah, that's what I was going to say. It was in our notes. I mean, I think if it has 4 wheels, you've driven it, and it's not strictly open wheel cars because you were one dynamite in the late model as well, and you've got some Eldora championships. And I think probably my favorite Matt Westfall moment was when you won that USAC sprint car feature in the family car many, many years ago.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. We've been close a couple more times, but it just seems like that's been forever. I'm getting older now. Like when we go to the races now, I'm one of the oldest guys there. So,
I don't think it slowed you.
I mean, I'm not that old.
Yeah, I don't think it slowed you down any. Kyle, you've kind of got a little bit of a synopsis there of Matt's career at the Rumble.
Yeah, so he's had 29 Rumble appearances, which is 5th on the all-time list. 11 feature starts, 4 top fives, the best finish of 3rd place in both 1998 and 2015. 3 heat race wins and 3 Consi wins.
And then we also have to go on with your comment where you talked about 1 of 3 drivers.
Mm-hmm.
The other 2 were Rich Corson and Mike Fodorczyk.
Exactly, yeah.
And that was the trivia question.
Yeah.
Dave, your midget, it sits in the garage 51 weeks out of the year. What do you have to do? And why is it just a Rumble-only midget?
Because it's just built for the Rumble. Everything that we've done to it, we've made it just to run indoors. Now, we've run it at the Speedrome a couple times when they've run midgets there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good. It's good at the Speedrome, but it wouldn't be good. I wouldn't run it at Winchester.
Okay. So it runs 1 time a year basically right now at the Rumble. When do you start getting it ready for the Rumble? The Rumble's 8 weeks away. When do you start on the car?
I've been tinkering with it, doing a little bit here and there. About all we have to do now is just adjust the valves and change the bars and put some new tires on it, and it'll be ready to go.
Well, we're really excited that we're going to be able to pull the Rumble off. It's going to be a little bit different this year. We have to make some modifications. We're going to try to announce some of them tomorrow. We're still trying to work through them. But I can tell you that we are going to have to restrict the fields in all the classes, and that's going to be the tough part. But you can rest assured that the veterans will be on the invite list.
Yeah, so Matt, obviously, between Silver Crown cars, midgets, sprint cars, Chili Bowl, a lot of versatility there. How does running the Rumble every December stack up against some of those other races?
The Rumble's tough. I mean, like I told you, everybody has specialty cars, and it's tough. And I mean, like I don't run pavement or anything, but once a year there at the Rumble, so our setups can be off sometimes, or we're not on top of it. And but it's also it's a fun race. I mean, we get to go hang out with all our buddies right around Christmas time, and then right after that we head to the Chili Bowl. So it's actually good for me to get back in racing shape a little bit too before we go to the Chili Bowl and to Florida.
I'm glad you brought that up because we have to remind everybody that this year the Rumble in Fort Wayne, because of the way Christmas falls on the holiday, we've moved it up 1 week. So the Rumble this year is going to be on Friday and Saturday, December 18 and 19. So make sure, normally it's between Christmas and New Year's, move it up 1 week. And I know last week, Kyle, you told everybody to get their Christmas parties out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. Or better yet, have your Christmas parties at the Rumble.
There you go. Matt, on the 1/6 mile, and again, everybody that's watching kind of knows that the Rumble is what it is. It's a purposely built track inside of the Coliseum up at Fort Wayne. Who do you talk about the specialty cars and fun and stuff, but is there anybody that stands out as like your biggest competition?
Well, obviously it's Tony Stewart. I mean, he wins most of the time there. So Tony's really good. I mean, you have Billy Weiss is good there. He's won a bunch of races. I mean, there's just a lot of good cars. It's not like going to the racetrack and there's 12 good cars. There's 30 good cars that can make the race or win the race. So it makes it a lot tougher. And that shows a lot for having one race a year and everybody has good stuff, So, I mean, everybody looks forward to going to that race every year.
Dave, you are always like the happy-go-lucky guy. I've never really seen you upset at the racetrack. We've had maybe a few words here and there, but how do you keep your composure? And if it's a special pill, can you give me a couple?
I'm just nervous as hell the whole time, Larry. I'm nervous to argue with you.
Yeah, it's a family operation. So, do you ever get into any family feuds in the pit area?
No, basically I let whatever Filbert wants to do to the car, he can do it. He's the one that makes Him and Matt make us go fast.
Just
I
you
just
and
go along for the ride.
and you and Bonna just pay the bills.
Yeah, yeah.
So a little bit outside of your driving, Matt, we have a few people chiming in here. Your buddy Jacob Boxell, can you kind of tell us about Apache Chassis?
Yeah, in the winter, well, even in the summer when that little E runs, I came from go-karts and I've always enjoyed building my own karts, and I've always helped Jake along through the years when he started, and now he's involved with the 600 stuff now. So it's kind of fun helping young kids get a start and try to get them to the next level.
That was one of the points I was going to bring up. We're talking to the midget division here with Matt Westfall and Dave Ryder as our guests tonight on the Rumble Mumble. But Matt has been very successful in the go-kart business, and he's even driven for us at like the Ohio Expo Center and at Little E. He's won some races at both places, and always pretty competitive, and that's always neat. Do you feel that racing the go-kart, like with no suspension and basically it's just the driver, does that help you out any, like in the midget or anything?
There a couple years ago when I ran Little E, I think it really helped smoothing me back out. Trying to be more patient with the wheel, smoothing me out, and a go-kart is pretty demanding. I mean, you got to be in shape to run one, so it kept me in better shape for the sprint car and midget, and I just think it keeps you a little sharper on the wheel.
I know that, Kyle, you've driven the go-karts up there at the Rumble, and quite honestly, they put on one whale of a show.
Yeah, I know I was never a part of that show, but the go-karts definitely do put on a pretty good show, and I think a lot of times they're even faster than the midgets.
What do you feel on that, Matt, as far as like the speed? I think they're like both right around 7 seconds.
Yeah, the midgets don't feel like you're going that fast, but boy, when you're in that go-kart, it feels like you're flying. So, and stuff happens pretty quick with the go-karts. I mean, they step out from underneath of you, and that concrete wall, I mean, it ain't soft. So you got to be on your toes in that go-kart to, I mean, there's a lot of good guys that run the go-karts, and they show up because Larry pays good money there. So it's definitely one of the best shows of the weekend.
And we definitely can't count out the quarter midgets. And I think you look at the talent that is driven in the quarter midget division, and I don't want to go into that too much because it's going to kind of be our flashback Friday tomorrow. I think you really want to look at that. We've got some neat stuff coming up on that. But Dave, in the Rumble, there's it's a combination. It's a neat set of package that Tony Barhorse put together. It features the Focus midgets, the Kenyon midgets. I think there's D2 midgets, National midgets, and they're all together. Your car, which category does it fall under?
It would fall under the National because it's a Hawk chassis with an Autocraft Volkswagen motor in it. So, and that's kind of what you want to have inside a Volkswagen.
I see. And I think I learned my lesson like 4 years ago that Volkswagens need a little bit of time to warm up before they get the green flag. Matt kind of educated me on that one a little bit. Remember that one, Matt?
Yeah, because they're air cooled. They're not water cooled. So it's you got to get the oil temperature up so they get some temperature in the motor. And with all the oil pressure, if you don't get them hot enough, they'll blow the oil filter off, and then Larry's not happy with the track getting oiled down. So
yeah, we work pretty hard to get that. So people don't understand, it's a concrete track, but it's Pepsi surface. So we lay down the Pepsi, and you're actually running on top of a soda pop surface, and naturally, yeah, you put oil on that. It's not like outdoors where you just throw down kitty litter and dry it up.
I am curious, Matt, from someone who's raced karts and midgets in there for so long. There's a lot of talk about how the track has changed between using Coke syrup, Pepsi syrup, Mountain Dew syrup. How have you seen that change over the years, and what's your perspective on that?
Years ago, the rubber didn't come up as much, I don't believe, because with the go-karts nowadays, they run tire prep and all that. So it's different rubbers. And I believe like the midgets, we'll go out there and we'll lay the rubber down, and the go-karts, they peel the rubber back up. So it makes it more challenging for, not so much the midgets, but the go-karts on setups and all that, because one time you'll be out there and a track will be real sticky. The next time you go out and it'll be real slick. So it makes it tricky. Plus you're down in that basement and you come up and you're like, oh, the track's gone. So then they're trying to make changes real quick before they go out. So the track I feel has changed over the years, just because I think it's different the tire preps and all that have come into a big play.
Well, we're certainly aware of that, guys, and that is one of the deals that we're working on this year on the reformatted Rumble. It's just so many pieces of the puzzle to put together, and it's going to be a deal where once we make the announcement, it's going to be tough to swallow, but I know the keyboard warriors are going to go crazy, and it's unfortunate, but we're not alone, guys, this year on what the pandemic has thrown to us. I'm pretty dumb on mechanics. I know nothing about mechanics. You say the cars are more special now than 23 years ago when you raced. What is it that's more special?
Well, I believe a lot of them cars that are there, they only race that race. When back 23 years ago, them were the cars that we raced every weekend. We'd run at Winchester. We'd go to IRP when we'd run the little short tracks. Now that you guys, 23 years ago when he started doing this, and it's something that we do every year now. And back when he started, we used to run Toledo, and we ran Columbus and some of them other places. So people kind of bought cars just for them races, instead of running your outdoor cars so much. So now I believe it's been going on so long that people just like my Uncle Dave and Bonner, they have just a car that we just race that race. So I think a lot of people concentrate on their setups just for that track. Like back in '98 when we did it, we didn't know what we was doing. We just went in there and had our own car that we ran on the dirt. We just ran it there, and then we went straight to the Chili Bowl after that and ran the Chili Bowl. So that's what I'm saying on specialty cars like the Munchkin. They really don't race it anywhere else other than the Fort Wayne, and there's a lot of other cars like Justin Peck's really good there, and that car is only ran there. So, I mean, it makes it a little harder than it was back in '98.
Got it. Well, we're about 2 to 3 minutes from wrapping this up, and it's amazing how quickly 23 minutes go by. There's so much that we can learn about these racers that participate at the Rumble, and it's neat having Dave on board tonight also as the car owner. Dave, what advice, what are you going to tell Matt this year? What is his job to do this year?
We just go there and have fun. That's what we've always did. When we first started it, it was just to have fun and something to do. And God, you can't take it serious because it's so tough in there. You know, to me, a win some nights is just being able to roll it in the trailer after the weekend's done. You know, or not seeing it come back on the forklift. That's a good night, you know.
Well, you're making it sound like it's a demolition derby. Now, come on, be nice. I know what you're saying. The level of competition there is tough, and you can see that what you touched on, just making the feature is a big thing to a lot of guys.
You gotta be aggressive in there, but you also got to be cautious because you can't be tearing your car up all the time.
Matt, Kyle, you might have one more question, but one question I have, I like what you said earlier, and this is going to open a can of worms, and I'm glad we're taking the comments off here pretty shortly, but you said when you started 23 years ago, you drew for position, you didn't qualify. Your thoughts on that?
Back then you could actually I think, make some moves because the setups on the cars wasn't as good. Now I think we need to qualify with your inversion, just because if you do start in the back, it's hard to pass a slow car now.
Got it.
Honestly, yeah, that was my question. That's my favorite question we ask every week is, as a driver, as a team owner, whatever, what would you change about the Rumble, whether it's the format or the track or whatever?
Well, I don't think the actual racing format's going to change too much this year. But one exciting thing is I think we're going to transponders finally, and that will change a little bit as far as how we qualify the cars. So we're looking forward to that. Matt just came off of a big weekend in Tennessee. He runs well with the Boss Series, the non-wing cars, running for Ray Marshall. And just an all-around racer. And we're going to get ready to wrap it up here, guys. And I'm glad that we worked this through, our first show. I'm really excited about it. Carl, our producer, is doing a great job. And we're here in the studio in Indianapolis. We want to thank Rico Elmore and all the great folks at Fatheadz Eyewears. But more importantly, we want to thank Dave Ryder and Matt Westfall for coming on board, guys. Thanks.
Thank you guys for having us. Appreciate it.
All right, with that, we're going to head and wrap it up. And just remind everybody that we're going to allude to what the format is going to be tomorrow at 6 p.m. On all our social media networks.
Yep, so stay tuned. Be on the lookout tomorrow, and we will see you guys December 18th and 19th for the Rumble in Fort Wayne.
With move-in on Thursday, December 17th. So with that, guys, it's a wrap, and we'll see you next Thursday. And our guest will be live in the studio. We're going to welcome Justin Peck.